Hello once again, players of good video games. My name is Pell, and this is the review for episode 1 of Telltale Games, The Wolf Among Us. Now, this is from the production studio that created the Walking Dead game, which won numerous awards and was highly praised in 2012, I believe. Yeah, this is its kind of next installment in a series, or next attempt at a series, and it's a game which I believe is based on some sort of comic. I'm not certain on that, but I think so. And this is essentially the main basis for the game. The game takes place in a city called Fabletown, and it's basically this place where all these fairy tale creatures have escaped to, and they are in our human world, and they use these things called glimmers to make themselves look human, and so they can kind of blend in and behave themselves and stuff like that. The game follows the main protagonist of this story, and his name is Bigby, and in the fables he is known as the Big Bad Wolf. This causes the inhabitants of Fabletown to be afraid of him for numerous reasons. He has a temper, and in the stories he was a villain, so it's kind of a wonder of why he's now a sheriff in this town. But he's the main protagonist that we follow, and it's accompanied by numerous other people such as a Toad, Snow White, Bell, Beast, and then numerous other people from fairy tales old and new. And the essential story for this game is him trying to solve a murder. And the murder is surrounding a girl named Faith. They reveal kind of her past and her background and stuff like that. She is the person who has been murdered, and she is the one who he's trying to figure out her murderer and figure out who killed her, why she was killed, how it happened, all this type of stuff. And so that is the main purpose of episode 1, and it's him trying to figure out who did this. And you go through 5 or 6 chapters and just basically go through different situations, and you encounter numerous characters. The script for this game is written really, really well. The character design is written really nicely. The character design is done really nicely, so that's really nice. The graphics are similar to The Walking Dead, so they're look comic booky, but they're more refined, they're more fresh, and they're more detailed, which is really nice. The only issue that I had with the game was that there was a point in which the game just seemed kind of freeze for however long, and I could still back out into the main menu and stuff, but the screen was just still where it was. I ended up backing out to the main menu and then continuing, and it just put me right back to where I was, and it proceeded fine after that. There are also some laggy parts throughout the story, so it'll be loading a cutscene and it'll be kind of laggy for a little bit, but then it'll get back on once everything's set and ready to go. In terms of gameplay mechanics, if you played the Walking Dead game by Telltale, it works basically the exact same way. You do button presses to indicate how you want to proceed with the conversation. You can examine evidence and objects around the area, get more details about them, or to just observe different things that are happening. Walking Dead had a little bit of this, but it was a little bit simpler, I thought. In this game, there are fighting sequences where you are having to fight different characters, and there are also chase sequences where you have to chase people. My only flaw with that is that there's not really a tutorial to show you like this is what you're gonna have to deal with. They just kind of throw you into it with like figuring out how to set the circle onto the spot where you're supposed to hit the person or anything like that. So I was very confused in my first fight with the X-Men, where I had to actually deal with that. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually a fairly easy process to deal with. So that part is quite nice. Overall, though, this is actually a really, really good first chapter. I'm very intrigued by it, and I am very excited for the rest of the episodes that are about to come out. I think they're going to be released once a month, if I am correct. And yeah, definitely get this if you are a fan of the Walking Dead game. If you're a fan of Telltale, it's definitely a story that you don't want to miss. I'll be showing my ending to this episode because, just like Walking Dead, the ending I think can be a little bit different depending on choices that you make. And then I'll be showing like my roster of like 70% of players did this and blah blah blah, so that type of stuff. So if you want to see my conclusion and my thoughts on the conclusion to episode 1, stay tuned after the credits of this video and you can see that. But yeah, that's about it. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely if you did so. And once again, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and as always, keep on gaming.
Shit. Hey, Toad.
My car?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Oh no, by all means. Take your time. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, you didn't see him.
And if you are still watching, you're here to see my thoughts on the ending to episode 1 of The Wolf Among Us. Now, we basically come down to the choice between either going to help out Toad, who is in some sort of trouble, and we also have to make a choice of going to Prince Lawrence's. I chose to go to Toad because he seemed to be in the most desperate trouble, and I figured that if Prince Lawrence was actually the person who did it, he would be around to deal with later. So I went to Toad's and I interrogated him. That was probably that was kind of a fun thing to deal with, because we have this guy who's just kind of picking apart Toad's lies, and as you find new evidence, it becomes more and more obvious of what kind of happened, and you eventually get the truth out of him. And so you deal with Toad, and then you end up at Prince Lawrence's, and you see that he is shot. He has assumably shot himself, and you see different things that are going on with that. It almost seemed like he killed Faith, but then his reaction to her death, like knowing that she died, it seems like he actually was surprised by it, because he ended up shooting himself out of misery. And so he probably knew something, but we don't know what. So after that event, we have Tweedledee, I think, runs out, and you have to chase him, deal with him, you get knocked out, and then you have to go to a pub. And this was probably the climatic point of the episode, because you're in this bar and you're looking for the woodsman, and everyone at the bar is just like, don't do this, just like leave us alone, leave him alone, you don't need to do anything. And there's a fight that breaks out. We see the woodsman, we're talking to him, he basically is done fighting, and the guy and the bartender and then one of the guys who's in there, they transform into their fabled creatures, and then a fight breaks out. This was definitely a very intense part, because it's just a very dramatic scene, because we have the Wolfman fighting this creature, and it's just a very intense thing. And again, you have to like rely on your quick time event skills that you potentially acquired throughout the rest of the games. And yeah, it's just a very interesting conclusion. You leave the bar, depending on what your choice was. You can either rip off the guy's arm or you cannot. I did not, and then you have to choose to either go after Tweedledee or the woodsman, and I chose the woodsman. So yeah, and then the very end scene, which I'm assuming is the same for all the parts, we have a scene where it shows that Snow White has been killed as well. So the companion who you're with for the whole of this episode has been killed. And so that will make for very interesting dynamics in episode 2. So I'm very excited for it. So yeah, overall, very good game. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited for episode 2. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And yeah, that should be it. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Once again, I'd appreciate it immensely if you did that. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on gaming.
We had something very special.
Who else is involved?
The girl with the coat.
Serial killer.
Oh my.
A serial killer? Oh God, and it's one of us. guy still walking the streets?
We've got to put a lid on this. If you can't manage it, I'll find someone who can.
I found out where she's been staying.
I know she's here. You must have seen her. What are the two of you hiding?
Thanks for not saying anything.
Doesn't matter. Maybe you just want to punish someone. We can arrange that.
What did you do?
Friend on friend. At the end of the end.
Jesus Christ, baby. Is that you?